Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 1 of What If Naruto Was Madara's grandson. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see part 2 of it, comment down below and let me know. And also go ahead and check out other what ifs in the channel. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content, it really means a lot. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and like this video, and also share this video with your friends. So let's start this video. In a remote location, one could only see destruction. As the sun was slowly rising, it showed two men, one standing and one seemingly dead. All around the battlefield were weapons, craters, and apparently a large waterfall, no doubt created by the intensity of the fight. This place would later be known as the Valley of the End. The man that was barely standing had neck-length long black hair, black eyes, and was wearing what appeared to be worn red armor with plates going around the arms and chest for protection. The man was no other than Hashirama Senju, leader of the Senju clan, and first Hokage, a village hidden among the leaves. Why did it come to this, Madara? Asked Hashirama to himself, overlooking the corpse of his long-term friend. The now identified man lying on the ground had long spiky black hair that almost reached his hip, covering the left part of his face, including his left pitch black eye. He also wore the same armor style. Lying on the ground with a sword impaled in his chest was Uchiha Madara, former leader of the Uchiha clan and co-founder of the Leaf Village. "I'm sorry, but you chose the wrong path. Goodbye, old friend. May you find peace in the afterlife," said Hashirama as he turned to walk away from the long battle he just fought. His head lowered in shame as he couldn't save his friend from his choices. Couple days later. Unknown location. "Oh, my head, where am I?" asked Madara, slowly opening his eyes. He immediately shot up and winced from the pain in his chest. Looking around, he found out he was in a small wooden house. From the looks of it, it was a modest-looking house, small, probably only one person lived there. "Easy there, champ, you got wounded pretty badly," said an unknown female as she approached him. Looking at her, he noticed she had long, smooth blonde hair that reached her waist, blue eyes, and an oval face. She was wearing a brown shirt that easily showed her C-cup breasts and dark blue pants. All in all, standing in front of him was a beautiful young woman smiling at him. "Who are you? Where am I?" asked Madara, being a bit wary to the female even though he was still weak from the fight. "Well, my name is Namikaze Hinako, and as to where you are, we are in rice field country near the ocean," said Hinako, featuring a small smile that didn't go unnoticed by Madara. "What happened? How did I get here?" asked an impatient Madara, trying to find out what happened since his memory was a bit fuzzy. "So many questions, just lie down and relax. You got injured in your last fight and barely made it. You were lucky that I found you and brought here and healed you. There were times I didn't think you would pull it off. After all, not many people survive getting a sword through their chest. Now how about you tell me who you are?" asked Hinako, taking in account that the man was probably a shinobi. "I am the great Uchiha Madara, former leader of the Uchiha clan, co-founder of the Leaf Village," said Madara, with a pride in being a member of the Uchiha clan. "A bit full of ourselves, aren't we?" said Hinako, giggling at Madara and getting a glare from him. "Are you a shinobi?" asked Hinako, with caution, not knowing yet if he could be trusted. "Indeed I am. I am one of the most powerful shinobi in the world, known only to be matched in power by Hashirama Senju, the current first Hokage of the Leaf," said Madara, spitting the last word with venom. He still hated the Leaf and his clan for not following his leadership and abandoning him to follow a Senju of all people. "You still got your ass handed to you," said Hinako, chuckling and going full-blown laughter as Madara was glaring at her and murmuring something about disrespectful and troublesome blondes. "Well, I am going out for some food. Get some rest, it will take a couple months to get you back to full health," said Hinako, as Madara was laying back in the bed remembering his loss to Hashirama, but chuckling darkly as he remembered that he got what he was going for. 5 years later, rice field country. Many would have thought that Uchiha Madara was a cold person incapable of love or caring about another person other than himself. However, this couldn't be far from the truth. In the last 5 years, a lot has changed, and although Madara wouldn't admit it, he has grown very close to Hinako, actually treating her like his wife, and even abandoning his plans for revenge against his fellow clan members. "Maybe this is the peace I always chased," thought Madara, as he watched the love of his life with her head on his chest. In past years, he adopted the life of fisherman along with Hinako, and left behind all the fights and wars he once fought. Hinako also got to know about Madara and his clan and village that he created along his long-life rival and friend Hashirama. She got to know about the life of a shinobi in Madara's Kekkei Genkai, the Sharingan. Though would have thought that the great Uchiha Madara would simply live a simple civilian life away from battles. "Ironic, as I always wished to die in the heat of battle at the hands of a powerful enemy," said Madara, as he chuckled as he almost died at the hands of Hashirama. "If leaving the shinobi life is what it takes to be and make Hinako happy, I will gladly forget about my past and focus on the future," thought Madara, as he drifted off to sleep, embracing the warmth of her lover. Another 5 years later, rice field country. Another 5 years have passed, and now we could see a happy Madara leaning against a tree, embracing Hinako in his chest. Both glancing at the sea, they could see a 4-year-old kid trying to stand in the water. He had specky blonde hair and bluest eyes anyone had ever seen. His name was Namikaze Minato, son of Uchiha Madara and Namikaze Hanako. Seeing their son trying and failing to stand in the water, both parents sighed, feeling happy about having a wonderful child and a wonderful partner that loved the other. Although Madara had abandoned his shinobi ways, he decided to train young Minato to defend himself, should the need ever arise. Madara also explained him that he decided to give him her mother's name, because the Uchiha were known and feared all over the world. He also explained him and showed him his Sharingan, saying that one day he would also wield it, and that he should be proud of his heritage. A few weeks later, Madara was currently heading home after going into town to buy groceries. In the way home, he felt a burst of chakra in the direction of his house. Even though Madara had abandoned being a shinobi, he still kept most of his skills sharp, never knowing when you might need them. Quickly rushing through the woods, his house came into view, and he saw a bleeding Hanako and young Minato trying to hold off a couple of rogue Ame shinobi. Without hesitation, he quickly disappeared in a burst of speed, and stopped just in time to block a sword that would have killed his only son. Activating the Sharingan, he just glared at the 4 shinobi in front of them. By the looks of them, they were merely Chunin level. The Ame shinobi, seeing the Sharingan glowing in all its power, the leader of group asked, "Who are you?" Stuttering after seeing the Sharingan, the shinobi knew too well the power of that Kekkei Genkai and his clan members. "I am Madara, Uchiha Madara," said Madara, as wind blew the hair on his back, giving him an aura of power that intimidated even the most powerful enemies. After hearing the name, the Ame shinobi paled, and took a couple of steps back at seeing that man in front of them, the legendary Uchiha Madara, former leader of the Uchiha clan. Without hesitation, Madara activated his Susanoo, and quickly killed the 4 Ame shinobi without remorse. Looking back, he saw that Minato was passed out from chakra exhaustion. Approaching his lover, he looked at her eyes, and his heart filled with remorse for not being there, not being able to protect the one person that mattered the most in his world, the love of his life. "Take care of our son," said a weak Hanako, giving one last kiss to her lover. She closed her eyes, never to open them again. Madara just stood there frozen, looking at his now dead wife. In his mind, he was getting flashes of the last 10 years of his life. In the last years, all he got was happiness, only to get that stolen from him. Taking one last look at his Hanako, he made a decision that would influence all entire world. "I was too naive to think this would last, too naive to believe the world had changed, too naive to leave my plans behind. I will lead the world to true peace and happiness. I will honor your memory, Hanako. I will create a world made of love and happiness, and I will make sure that you will stand by my side," thought Madara, as he picked his son and jumped into the woods, leaving behind his former home. A month later, Madara and Minato were standing a few miles outside the main gates of Konoha. As Madara looked one final time to Minato. "Minato, my son," said Madara, getting Minato's attention. In the last month, Madara trained Minato to the ground, bent on getting his son as strong as possible, so he could keep himself safe. During this month of training, Minato had activated his Sharingan, quite a feat for someone so young. "Remember, keep the Uchiha name and bloodline a secret from the village, but never forget your legacy. Even though I dislike the Senju, this village will keep you safe and strong. Never abandon your beliefs and fight for what you hold dear. Only when fighting to protect someone precious to you will you show your true strength. I am sorry to leave alone, but is this something I must do alone? Speak to the 3rd Hokage and tell him you are an orphan and wish to join Konoha. He will keep you safe. There may come a time when we will fight each other. Until then, good luck," said Madara, as he started to walk away, leaving his son to a new path. "Well, I guess this is it," said Minato as he walked through the main gates of Konoha and said to himself, "I will make you proud, Tusan, and I will honor your memory, Kasan." 20 years later, undisclosed location, outside of Konoha. Thought out the entire room and scream echoed. This scream seemed to belong to a young baby. The baby weighed 3 kilograms and had spiky blonde hair and pair of dark blue eyes. Pretty much a carbon copy of his father, Minato Namikaze. "Congratulations, Kushina-san, it's a beautiful boy," said the nurse as she handed the newborn baby to her mother. The woman in the bed could only be described as a red-hat beauty. With long, smooth crimson red hair going all the way to her waist, blue eyes and an ample D-cup breasts adorned her well-developed body. She embraced her son for the first time. "Hello, Sachi," said Kushina. Minato turned to his son and said, "Welcome to our family, Naruto." Current time, undisclosed location, outside of Konoha. "Yes, Kushina, you will have plenty of time," said Ibuwako, as she picked up Naruto for his first bath. Buwako is a woman with 170 centimeters long brown hair trapped in a ponytail with brown eyes. She is around 50 years old, and is the wife of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the 3rd Hokage, the previous leader of Konoha. "How are you feeling, Kushina?" asked Minato, concerned with her loving wife. "Just tired," she replied. "Thank you," he said. When suddenly a voice unknown to both Minato and Kushina echoed through the room. "Step away from the Jinchuriki 4th Hokage," the masked man said as he held Naruto hostage with a kunai at his neck. The wacko and the nurse lay dead in the floor. Okay, just calm down, said Minato, frightened, concern evident in his eyes. Speak for yourself, fourth Hokage. I am perfectly calm, Masked Man said as he threw Naruto in the air, preparing to stab with the kunai. Suddenly, in a yellow flash, Minato grabbed Naruto as the Masked Man made his way towards Kushina. Buzzing was heard as Minato realizes 5 explosive tags placed in the blanket around Minato. In a burst of speed, Minato removes the blanket and teleports to his safe house. Minato's safe house. Outside of Konoha. An explosion occurred as Minato is blasted away with his son in his arms. That man is no ordinary shinobi, said Minato, wondering just who the Masked Man is. He managed to separate me from Kushina. Teleporting to the Namikaze compound, Minato places his son on the bed, whispering, rest now, Naruto, I am going to save your mother. I will be back. Undisclosed location, outside of Konoha. The Masked Man approached Kushina and warped away to outside the house. Placing his head on her stomach, he begins extracting the Kyuubi. In a couple of minutes, a figure is seen erupting from her stomach and materializing in the air. There stood the 9-tailed demon fox in all its glory with 9 tails swinging. With a glimpse, the Masked Man traps the Kyuubi under his control. The once red slitted eyes of the Kyuubi are now red with 3 black tomos, the Sharingan glowing in all its power. Wait, said a weak Kushina, realizing what was about to happen. Incredible. The Uzumaki clan is simply incredible. Not even extracting a tailed beast from you is enough to kill you, said the Masked Man as he commanded the Kyuubi to kill his former Jinchuriki. It's only fitting that the Kyuubi kills its container, he said. As the Kyuubi is about to crush Kushina, yellow flash is seen. Standing in a tree not far away, we see Minato with Kushina in his arms, bridal style. He really lives up to his name. Minato Namikaze Konoha's yellow flash, he says, warping to the edge of the village. Minato flashed to the Namikaze compound, laying Kushina near her son as she embraces him. Kushina, I'm going to stop the Kyuubi. Take care of him, he said, and in a yellow flash is gone. North entrance of Konoha. It was a warm, calm summer night in the hidden village of the Leaf. Lights were seen all around the village, as the people followed their lives, unaware of what was about to happen. Summoning jutsu, the Masked Man said, slapping his palm on the ground, and his burst of smoke. There stood the Kyuubi, ready to unleash its fury upon the unsuspecting village. Suddenly a roar is heard as the Kyuubi starts its destruction. Swinging its tails and using its paws, nothing stood in his way. Third Hokage, the Kyuubi has appeared in the north part of the village, said an Anbu as he bowed to the third Hokage. Yes, I heard it. Summon the forces and evacuate the civilians. He must push the Kyuubi out of the village and wait for the fourth, said the third Hokage. Minato Namikaze is seen standing in the top of the Hokage monument, ready to go face the Kyuubi when he senses a presence behind him. Quickly ducking and turning around, he swings a kunai only to phase through the head of his enemy. Suddenly everything begins to become distorted as the Masked Man starts to absorb in a ripple-like pattern. Minato, before it's finished, Minato disappears. He flashed away to his safe house. Safe house after Minato escaped Masked Man. That technique, Minato said, pondering what he just experienced. It's a space-time technique more advanced than my own. It happens it doesn't require seals, or I would have seen them with my Sharingan. It is best if hide my Sharingan under a genjutsu. I don't know who he is, but his chakra signature seems familiar. Suddenly a figure starts to appear just a few meters away from Minato. There stood the Masked Man preparing to face the legendary yellow flash. The men stared at each other, each one daring to make the first move. Who are you? Asked Minato as he wondered who could possibly have the power to not only unleash, but also control the Kyuubi. My name is long forgotten and despised in the history of this village. I was once known as Madara Uchiha, but you can call me Toby. He replied, chuckling at the irony of asking a masked man who he is. No. I know for a fact that you are not Madara Uchiha. Although your chakra seems familiar, you are not him, Minato said, trying to find out the masked man's identity. The masked man simply stood there wondering how in the world could the fourth Hokage know that he isn't Madara. Something here isn't right. How can he know Madara's chakra signature? Toby thought. Both warriors dashed at each other in a battle for speed. The fastest would win. Minato simply throws his Harai Shin Kunai at Toby as it's phased through his head. Getting closer to each other, preparing for the face-off, Minato charges a Rasengan in his right hand, preparing to slam it into Toby. Toby is about to touch Minato, preparing to absorb him. Victory is mine, he says, and suddenly Minato disappears from his sight, only to appear behind his back using the kunai he previously threw. Minato twists his body, slamming the Rasengan into Toby, vaporizing the area, and marking Toby with Harai Shin seal. I underestimated him, Toby says when suddenly Minato appears in front of him, stabbing him with a kunai, and applying a contractor move seal to free the Kyuubi. Toby, seeing that he lost this battle, says, I will be back, and I will get my revenge on the Leaf Village. As he warps away. Something tells me he wasn't joking, and he's a Uchiha with a chakra signature similar to my father's. I wonder who he is, thought Minato, as he gets up, getting ready to stop the Kyuubi flashing to the battlefield. Battlefield Konoha, northern part of the village. In the battlefield, stood the third Hokage leading the forces, trying his best to push the Kyuubi away from the village when suddenly he hears summoning technique. Minato says as he drops on top with Kyuubi with his summon Gamma Bunta to Toad Boss, pinning the Kyuubi into the ground. Try and hold him down as long as you can. Teleporting something this big requires preparation. He says to the Toad Boss as Minato prepares to teleport the Kyuubi away from the village. Are you crazy? I am not a miracle worker. Hurry, Gamma Bunta says. Suddenly both Minato and Kyuubi disappear. Near the safe house. Arriving near the safe house with the Kyuubi on its toll, Minato is panting from the massive chakra usage he just pulled to teleport the Kyuubi. Fourth Hokage, quick, you must seal me. I can still feel that damn Uchiha pushing me. I refuse to be controlled, says the Kyuubi much to Minato's surprise. He wants me to seal him, thought Minato as he teleported to the safe house, picking up Kushina and Naruto for the ritual. Kushina, I need your help to restrain him. He's still being pushed, he says as Kushina gathers the remains of her chakra to form chains to snare the Kyuubi to the ground. Minato starts performing a long chain of seals, and at the end he shouts, "That demon seal. Fourth Hokage, get out of the way." The Kyuubi shouts, as it feels being driven to kill his next vessel. However, both Minato and Kushina jump in front of his claw, protecting their son. Kushina, we don't have much time. Any last words? He asks Kushina. Naruto. She starts, I want you to grow into a nice young man and a strong shinobi. Remember to bathe every day, and go to bed early, you need your sleep. Also, I want you to make friends. You don't need that many, only a few, as long as they are true friends. Also, no drinking until you are 20 and stay away from Jiraiya. I am sorry Minato, I took your time. Don't worry. He starts, Kyuubi, can you look out for my son? I know he will have a hard life. He asks. It would be my honor. I will take care of your kid. The Kyuubi replies, wondering just how the hell this night could have happened. Damn, Minato thought, I need to make sure he knows of my father's legacy. I can't let him go to the Uchihas, not with the Kyuubi in him. But I never told anyone and it's too late now. He starts thinking when suddenly an idea struck his head. Maybe this will work. Suddenly Minato gathers what's left of his chakra, pushing it to his eyes as they start spinning, and says in a weak tone, Tsukiyomi. Minato starts waving, his eyes are starting to drift off, and he says, Naruto, listen to what your mother said, and grow up to be a strong and brave shinobi. And with the last of his strength he whispers, a trigram seal. In every shinobi village there is a reminder of their previous leaders and heroes, to honor their memory and sacrifice they did to protect and defend their homes. In Konoha there is a certain mountain that shows exactly that. The mountain was actually called the Hokage Mountain. And in it were carved the previous and current Hokages of the Leaf, and there stood the faces of the legendary shinobi. Senju Hashirama, first Hokage, leader of the Senju clan, one of the founders of the Leaf Village, and the first user of the Mokuton element. He was a caring and kind person dedicated to serve his village. However, he ended up dying during the First Shinobi War. His fight against Uchiha Madara had taken its toll and left him permanently weakened. He was at the time of his death a shell of his former self. But even now, about 80 years after his death, he's still remembered by everyone in the village. The second face belonged to Senju Tobirama, second Hokage. He was Hashirama's younger brother, and became Hokage after his brother's death. He too was a very strong shinobi. In fact, each of the Hokage was hailed as the strongest shinobi of their time. Tobirama was known for his extremely high water affinity that allowed him to use high-rank moves in places without water, by condensing the air around him. He too lost his life fighting in the Second Shinobi War, but before his death he appointed Hiruzen Sarutobi, one of his students, as third Hokage. The third face on the monument was Sarutobi Hiruzen, of the Sarutobi clan, known for their monkey summoning and extreme skill in taijutsu. Hiruzen is currently around 55 years old. He's one of the most powerful shinobi in the village, but in his prime he was hailed as god of the shinobi, mostly because of his skill in ninjutsu that allowed him to combine different elements to his attacks. Hiruzen is the current leader of the Leaf Village after his successor, the fourth Hokage, died. The last face of the monument was Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, hailed as the strongest of the Hokages. He was also the fastest shinobi to ever live in the elemental nations. Not even the Reikages with lighting armor could compete with him in speed. He was known for his use of the Haraishin no Jutsu, aka the Flying Thunder God technique, S-rank technique of his creation, that allowed him to move at almost the speed of light. This technique was the reason that he was known as Yellow Flash, due to his blonde hair. The only thing that people managed to see was Yellow Flash due to his speed. In the Leaf Village he was a hero that sacrificed his life to kill the Kyuubi no Yuko that attacked the village 5 years ago. And here, 5 years later after the Kyuubi attack, is where our story truly begins, with a small boy that despite being mistreated his whole life will rise to become the legend he was born to be. Konoha, 5 years after Kyuubi attack, October 10th. It was a warm night in the Leaf Village. The sun was just going down. It was starting to dim. The town lights were coming up, and we still could see many people going around the village doing their business. Unlike many other villages, even though Konoha was the most powerful village in the elemental nations, it didn't seem militaristic or cold. Many people, if they saw Konoha, would say that it wasn't a shinobi village. However, the mountain that surrounded the north part of village was a dead giveaway. In it were carved the faces of the most powerful shinobi to ever live. It was October 10th. The village was covered in decorations and celebrating the defeat to the Kyuubi that attacked 5 years ago. Everyone in the village was happy. It were times of peace. The wars were long forgotten, but not the hate and pain of many that were lost. Although everyone seemed happy, one particular kid was very sad and lonely. Uzumaki Naruto was an orphan of the Kyuubi attack. He was about 120 centimeters or 3 feet 11 inches and had spiky blonde hair, the bluest eyes anyone ever had, and in each cheek he had 3 whiskers marks, a birthmark. He was wearing a white shirt with short sleeves with an orange swirl in his back and black pants. Despite being what appeared to be a normal child, Naruto was hated and despised by most of the village. He was a painful reminder of the Kyuubi attack. He was expelled from the orphanage at the age of 4 and lived in the streets for about a month until the Hokage's Anbu found him and took him to the third Hokage. Third Hokage eventually became a grandfather figure to him. He gave Naruto a small apartment and allowance to live, but Naruto was constantly pursued by the villagers and constantly abused and beaten. The stores kicked him out or sold him rotten merchandise or charged twice the price. Even in the orphanage he still received the same treatment. Growing up in this kind of life forced Naruto to mature quickly if he wanted to survive. Because of this treatment, Naruto became a highly intelligent kid that could rival Minato. He became cold and calculative to everyone except his closest people, that in his case, were simply the Hokage himself and the owners of a ramen stand. Only 3 people cared for Naruto and wondered if he was eating or sleeping well. During his birthday things were even worse, because the villagers and the few shinobi would gather up and hunt him down like an animal, and here's where we are. The scared kid was running through the streets of Konoha trying his best to avoid the villagers and shinobi in hot pursuit. The villagers were shouting, "Die demon! Bid him finish what the 4th Hokage started." Naruto wondered, what did he ever do to deserve such treatment and harsh life? "Stop please, what did I ever do to any of you?" asked Naruto, running as fast as he could, his legs starting to give away. "Oh, please, you know very well what you did. You killed my brother and my father," shouted one of the villagers as he threw an empty bottle. "We will finish what the 4th Hokage started and kill the demon," the villager said as the others support him. Naruto kept running until he looked behind to his pursuers and noticed that a couple of them appeared to be Chunin. Even though Naruto was a stamina freak, a 5-year-old couldn't compete with the speed of a Chunin. The Chunin quickly closed the distance between him and Naruto. He took out a kunai and did a horizontal slash. Naruto, seeing the kunai that would most likely kill him, he ducked. As he was ducking, he noticed that time appeared to be slowing down. After dodging the slash, he unwittingly channeled chakra to his legs, trying to jump over a fence to get away. The rest of the shinobi seeing this were actually surprised, but they couldn't let the demon get away, so all of them threw a couple of kunai at him. While saying kunai kage shuriken no jutsu, the kunai multiplied to 15, and were going fast at Naruto. Naruto, knowing that he couldn't dodge them all in mid-air, started observing them, and calculating the best way to avoid them. It was then that it happened. His vision suddenly became clear, and the incoming kunai seemed to almost stop. Just by looking at them, he could see where they would land. Reacting to his instincts, Naruto quickly caught one kunai with his hand, and started deflecting all of them except one, that managed to pass his defenses and hit his shoulder. He cried out in pain, but managed to get over the fence into safety. He pulled the kunai of his shoulder and noticed that the wound was already closing. "I wonder why I'm the only person to heal this fast," he asked himself while walking through the village hidden in the shadows to avoid the villagers, but he quickly noticed that his vision was different. It was black and white, and he could see people with a blue flame inside of them that surrounded their body. He tried to push his eyes to see better, and suddenly he passed out in the alleyway. The stress and exhaustion of running and taking a kunai to the shoulder was too much. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto awoke in what it seemed to be a sewer. There were pipes in every wall, and the floor was filled with water with about 20 centimeters in height, or 8 inches. He wandered through the endless corridors wondering where he was when he heard a soft male voice calling him. "Follow my voice," the strange voice said. Naruto didn't know him, but was drawn to this voice. After walking for a couple of minutes, Naruto found himself staring at a big iron doors with vertical bars. The middle of the door, it was a small paper with the kanji for seal. He looked inside the cage, but it seemed empty. "Hello there, Naruto," said the voice. Naruto jumped back surprised, and noticed a man leaning in the sewer wall outside of the cage. Naruto observed the man carefully. The man was about 190 centimeters in height, or 6 feet 2 inches. He had spiky blonde hair with 2 bangs that framed his face, and had blue eyes. He was wearing a full-body blue suit, and the standard jonin flat jacket. He was also wearing a white cape with red flames, and it had the kanji for 4th Hokage. 4th Hokage. asked Naruto. He knew very well what happened 5 years ago. He knew that the 4th Hokage died to kill the Kyuubi. He was a hero. My name is Minato Namikaze, and I am the 4th Hokage, he said, looking at the kid in front of him and wondered how it happened so soon. Naruto seemed 5 at the most. How? You were supposed to be dead. Am I dead too? Naruto asked. No, you are not dead, but unfortunately I am, Minato replied. But if you are dead, then where am I? And how do you know my name? Naruto wondered what the hell was going on. Naruto, I am going to explain everything to you, listen closely. Okay, he asked, to which Naruto nodded. We are inside your mind. This is your mindscape. It's basically a representation of your mind in physical form, understand? Naruto nodded. Now the truth is that I am your father. Naruto froze when he heard that. No, it can't be. Jiji told me he didn't know who my parents were. Naruto thought. You my father? How? Naruto asked. Well, about the how you will find out when you're older. Minato said, chuckling. But it is true, I am your father and I'm sorry, I wasn't here with you, but I had to stop the Kyuubi. But listen, I don't have much time. You probably wondered why this village treats you like a monster. To which Naruto slowly nodded. Well, there isn't any easy way to say this, but 5 years ago, when you were born, the Kyuubi attacked the village. 3rd Hokage said that I killed the Kyuubi, but that is impossible. Kyuubi is a massive chakra without actually a physical body, so it can't die. The only way I had to stop the Kyuubi was to seal it inside a newborn baby. I'm sorry to say, but I had to seal into you, he said with a bit of shame, wondering how Naruto would react. What do you mean by sealed? I am the Kyuubi, he asked, now realizing what all the names the villagers called him by. No, you are neither a monster nor the Kyuubi, you are my son. And by sealed, I mean that the Kyuubi is trapped in your gut, behind these bars. Kyuubi, come forward, Minato explained. Suddenly, behind the bars of the empty cage, Naruto saw 2 glowing red eyes with black vertical slits. As the eyes approached the doors, he noticed the form of fox with tails swinging wildly in this spac. There stood behind the doors the most powerful being in the world, the most powerful of the 9 Biju, the Kyuubi no Yuko, the 9-tailed demon fox. Naruto, seeing this, jumped back, scared to see the monster that attacked the village, and was responsible for many deaths. No need to fear me, kid, the Kyuubi said, watching the poor kid. He knew too well what the villagers did to him. Naruto, Minato said, getting Naruto's attention. This is the Kyuubi, and he's not the demon everyone thinks he is. The attack 5 years ago was not his fault, Minato said, and started explaining what happened in that fateful night 5 years ago. From when Naruto was born, to the masked man unleashing the Kyuubi, and controlling it to attack the village, to Minato sealing him into him. Naruto was still frozen, absorbing what happened, everything his father was saying. Naruto didn't know what to say, it was just too much. Naruto, Minato continued, I'm sorry that I had to seal that Kyuubi into you. You had a harsh life until now, but I trust with this it will be slightly better, Minato said, and touched Naruto's stomach, effectively transferring the seal key to Naruto and opening the cage. What are you doing? Naruto asked, worried that his father opened the cage and let the Kyuubi out. Naruto, I told you that I wasn't that Kyuubi's fault that night. The Kyuubi will help you grow up and he'll be at your side to help you in your battle and provide advice. The only thing I ask of you is when you're close to your death that you release the Kyuubi. He didn't deserve to trapped in a cage, to be used as a weapon, Minato said. Will you really be my friend? Naruto asked, still a bit fearful of the fox. Of course, I will take care of you and make you strong so you can protect your home and friends, the Kyuubi replied, and what happened next surprised everyone in the mindscape. Naruto suddenly left his father's side and jumped into the paw of the Kyuubi. So soft and warm, he said, getting chuckles from both Kyuubi and Minato. Now Naruto, there is more that I need to tell you. I don't know if you realized it, but doesn't your vision seem different? Minato asked. Actually, it's all black and white with you being blue and Kyuubi red, Naruto replied. Naruto, do you know who Uchiha Madara is? Minato asked, getting a disgusted growl from the Kyuubi, clearly showing no love to the Uchiha leader. Yup, I know he was one of the founders of the Leaf, and was leader of Uchiha clan, that is supposed to be one of the strongest in the world, Naruto said, surprising his father. Naruto, even though was 5-year-old, was very smart, and did like to read, but going into the library was impossible as he was always expelled. Exactly, but what you and anyone doesn't know is that Madara was in fact my father. I never said anything to anyone because I decided to keep it a secret, he said. Naruto's eyes widened when he discovered that the legendary Uchiha Madara was his grandfather. I am the son of the 4th Hokage, Kano has Yellow Flash and the great Uchiha Madara. There is no way I'm not becoming Hokage, Naruto thought. With Mayu being my father, and Madara being my grandfather, there is no way I'm not becoming Hokage, believe it, Naruto yelled, pumping his fist to the air, and getting a smile from Minato. I have no doubt you will, Naruto, Minato said, ruffling Naruto's hair. Now you know that the Uchiha clan have a bloodline, more specifically a Dujutsu right. Naruto nodded. This bloodline is called the Sharingan, and you activated its first level. Look at the floor. Naruto looked down and saw his reflection in the water. His eyes were blood red with a black tomo in each eye. The Sharingan will evolve until it's fully matured, getting 3 tomos in each eye. Minato concluded he didn't want to go any further into the mangekyo. His time was ending, and the Kyuubi could explain it if he ever unlocked it. God, I hope he never has to go through that, Minato thought. Oh, I knew I was awesome, Naruto said, happy about knowing everything about his family and finding he had a bloodline. Now Naruto, pay attention to what I'm going to say, Minato started. I know that you always wanted a family, but you can't go to the Uchiha clan, besides having the Kyuubi in you, which, if they find out that you are an Uchiha, they will use it for their own gain. I want you to be a good person, and not an arrogant power hungry like the Uchihas are. Never rely too much on the Sharingan. Remember that the Sharingan is only a tool. Having it doesn't make you all powerful, okay? Minato asked, getting a nod. Okay, my time is ending. Everything I have, including my clan's techniques and weapons, are in the Namikaze compound, and only you can enter since there's a blood seal around it. Be careful so that no one finds out. I have many enemies, as did Madara. If you ever wish to reveal your true heritage, I ask you to reveal when you are strong enough to protect yourself and anyone you care about. There are people that would stop at nothing to kill you or your friends, to get revenge at me, Minato said with a bit of regret. After all, during the Third Shinobi War he was responsible for slaughtering Iwa's forces. Do you know how to use chakra to deactivate your eyes? He asked, getting a nod from Naruto. I'm fading, my chakra is almost over. Remember Naruto, me and your mother loved you very much, and I'm sorry that you had to live this life and growing up without love. Minato said, sad on how everything turned out. He asked the third Hokage, so that the village saw Naruto as their hero, but he was too naive. Don't worry father, I got to meet you after all. You did what you needed to protect our home. Naruto said, getting a smile from Minato as he said to fade away until he was no longer standing in front of him. Naruto woke up in the alleyway wondering if it was all a dream, until he heard a voice in his head. No kid, it wasn't a dream. I'm here after all. You should deactivate your eyes for now and start training. I will help you in every way I can, and when you are old enough, I will train to use my powers, Kyuubi said. Thank you, at least I have you with me. I could use the company, Naruto replied, happy with everything that happened. He knew that this night would turn out to be his best birthday. You don't need to speak out loud or people will think you are crazy. Just think and I will hear it. Also, now that the cage is open, you gain my second ability. You are able to sense people around you, and in time with training you will be able to sense their feelings. You should tell the Hokage what happened. He will help you, but keep him in the dark about my help for now, the Kyuubi said, getting a nod from Naruto as he got up, deactivated his Sharingan and started to make his way to the Hokage Tower. 15 minutes later, Hokage Tower. Naruto made his way into the Hokage office after arguing with the secretary and threatening her to tell the Hokage that she called him a demon. The reason Naruto never found out about the Kyuubi is that apparently the Hokage placed an S-rank law that prohibited anyone from telling him he had the Kyuubi in him, and anyone who broke it was subjected to immediate execution. Old man, Naruto said, earning a smile from the old Hokage, happy to see Naruto, and getting a break from the Hokage's #1 enemy, paperwork. Naruto-kun, how are you? Do you need anything? The Hokage asked. He even thought the Hokage wasn't actually related to Naruto. He has grown quite close to him in the last couple of years, treating him like a grandson. I wanted to ask you, if you could tell me who my parents are. Naruto asked, messing up with the Hokage a bit, before he tell him what happened. I wonder how he will react, he thought. I already told you Naruto, I'm sorry but I don't know who your parents are. All I know is that they are heroes that died fighting the Kyuubi. The Hokage replied. He couldn't tell Naruto who his parents are, he was too young. Jiji, before I tell what I came here for, can you tell your Anbu to leave? I only want to tell you this, Naruto said, getting a surprised face from the Hokage. How do you know that there are Anbu in the room? He asked, to which Naruto replied saying, I can sense them above the ceiling. Naruto replied. Very well, the Hokage said, and with the flick of a hand he signaled his 4 Anbu bodyguards to leave the room. Now Naruto, what do you want to tell me? He asked. Jiji, are you sure you sent them all away? I can still sense another person there, Naruto said, pointing behind that bookcase. Once Naruto said that, the 4 Anbu quickly returned and dashed towards the intruder, and quickly immobilizing it. The intruder had normal Anbu gear, black pants and steel plate in the chest for protection, but his mask was completely white with the kanji furrowed. Damn that Danzu, sticking his nose where he shouldn't, Hokage thought. Naruto, you are indeed a skilled sensor, you actually caught an intruder that was in here. Hokage said. Oh, I knew that I was awesome, Naruto replied, getting a chuckle from the old Hokage. After the room was empty, Naruto approached the pictures of the previous Hokages, and stopping in front of the picture of the 4th, turning to the Hokage he said, anything you want to tell me? The Hokage paled when Naruto asked him. How did you find out? The Hokage asked, wondering how did Naruto find out. Very few people knew that Minato was his father. Now that I think about it, I could almost be his twin. I wonder how anyone never noticed, Naruto said and started explaining everything that happened, leaving the Kyuubi helping him, he being Madara's grandson and him having the Sharingan. Minato really was a genius. To think even Daddy gives me headache, the Hokage thought. Now that you know, what are you going to do? You know you can't tell anyone, the Hokage asked. I'm going to train to become strong like my father was, and then I'm going to take that hat of yours, Naruto replied, getting a chuckle from the old Hokage, to which she said, I have no doubt you will. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want a next part of this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification, and also check out the other videos that I have created, and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.